15 degrees, you can see your breath. Out here in the lake effect, breaking tables like it's poetry. Where else would you rather be? Pinto, Ron, Elvis, and the Lay Poncho. The members that you need to know. 'Cause once you out here now, your family. Where else would you rather be? Where else would you rather be?
Welcome into the Nickel City Crew. I am your host, Rob Crippen. Please like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Nickel City Crew. This episode, along with all of our episodes, are presented by Crippen Legacy Entertainment here on Spreaker and StreamYard. We're so glad that you're joining us for some of your Buffalo Bills and NFL content again today. And as always, these are my Bills thoughts said out loud.
It's a vibe so ridiculous. Since 12 plus 83 was 6. The shout rocking like a symphony. Where else would you rather be?
All right, let's get straight to it. Really excited for tonight's episode. I was excited, and then, it was funny because me and my co-host, we were talking last night and chopping it up, and we had, some ideas, some topics, and different things like that. And then we get hit with a bomb earlier today. So we'll audible. We're quick on our feet. We're good on our angles, and we'll just get it figured out, man. Joining me tonight, as always, riding shotgun, my co-host Adam Dump Truck Rupsick. Holla at the crew, DT. We got to be quick on our feet, even in the podcast game, man. I mean, you get hit with a bomb, you gotta adjust.
Hey, Nickel City, what's up? What's up, Rob? We're good to be back another week, and as we inch closer to opening day here, and yeah, I mean, Nickel City crew. If you're a fan, I'm no little guy. So, but I do take pride in being quick and being nimble and having that quick first step, right? So, same in the podcast game. Let's get it. Tough news today, but hey, we're still haven't played a snap yet. It was I've been fighting punches all day from group chat after group chat. I'm sure on Twitter it's been hot today. We still haven't played a snap. So, but let's get into it.
All right, well, we'll get into it. We'll dive into it. Again, tonight's episode presented by 26 Shirts here on Buffalo Fanbase, the official Bills Mafia podcast network that we simulcast on. Appreciate you guys already tuning in and joining us, already up to close to 100 people on all the platforms. So, DT, there's no getting around it. There's no skirting it. We got to change our game plan for tonight and really hit with what leads off the show. Around this afternoon, we found out that Matt Milano goes down with a bicep injury. I know when I watched some of those videos, it just seemed like it was really, really innocent. It didn't seem like there was anything that, stood out on that one play. I know McDermott had mentioned something like he even thought that maybe Milano hit another guy, hit one of the trainers or something like that as well. But in some of the videos that I saw, like it just looked like a regular wrap-up, gator roll. He's done for a little while now. Now, Adam Schefter did say, Bills Mafia, Nickel City Crew, that he could come back in December. It said possibly, but Schefter's not a doctor, so obviously he's getting that information from somebody. But it's interesting because when I looked at it and I saw it, obviously it hurt because of the fact that he's such a big part of the defense, and obviously him coming back and having an opportunity to get back to form. And what did I tell you today? Even when we were kind of going back and forth, and I was like, well, what I mean? It's a leg injury. It's not ligament. So it's not like Vaughn or it's not like Tre'Davious where you got to get that confidence back and you're worried about popping something again or anything like that. It's a leg. It was a freak snap in London. So it was a situation where I don't know, DT. What's your assessment of it? Because it kind of puts me in a somber mood because he was going to be real important to what we talked about on that defensive episode. Just like, I mean, some of the tent poles still have to be there. You could change a lot of the things on the back end and the safeties are gone. And we would like to, we cope and say, well, they were getting older anyway. But, you still need some of those firm pillars there to carry out that McDermott defense. And he's one of the biggest pieces, man.
I mean, you're right. That's a good analogy. Some tent poles have to be there to be in a good enough tent to get under and be protected from the elements. And I was cautiously optimistic on this situation strictly because of Vaughn and Tre'Davious, and and Matt Milano is not your poster child of health either, right? He's been in the league since 2017, 2018 season, and really has never played all 17 games. Had a few years in a row in 21 and 22 where, you know, he had great seasons, had the first team All-Pro, and, you know, and played the majority of those for sure. But, you know, he's not a poster child of health by any means. So this is, in a way, unfortunately characteristic. In a way is, not to discredit it, but to make myself feel better about going to sleep at night. Is he the Dawson Knox of the defense? You know, had a breakout, had a breakout. We rely on it, and then he's just kind of, he's a good player still on our team, but we're not relying on him anymore. Is that what it's going to turn into with Matt Milano? And you know, I think at age of 30 and being, you know, kind of not made of glass is a tough term, but, you know, because he just had two strong years of play, and, you know, anybody's leg snaps in half in that situation. It's not like just because he's prone to injury that his leg snaps like that. You know, anybody's leg would have snapped like that last year. But I was definitely cautiously optimistic going into this, you know, because of Vaughn, because of Trey being north of 30 and coming back to all-pro level, especially at the linebacker position, is a tough thing to do. So it stinks. And like you said, the tent poles, some have to be there. This was kind of what everyone was hanging their hat on. Like, yeah, we lost Micah, we lost Poyer, we lost Trey White, but we still got Milano. Now we don't. So step up, man. Next step up. And this is not ideal for a kind of a situation where the offseason was very questionable and this and that. In the first preseason, it didn't go well. And then now, you know, somebody you were kind of banking on goes down for the year. So not ideal for Bills Mafia.
Yeah, it's not ideal for sure. And one of the things that my mind quickly went to, you know, and you're absolutely right, because Twitter was ablaze. A lot of people talking about, you know, injuries and this and that, and then blaming the staff. And I'm like, this is football, you know what I mean? Like, people get hurt on all 32 teams, you know what I mean? And I know that there is a portion of the Mafia though, DT, and I heard them on Twitter today just talking about how they think that there's something that's wrong with McDermott's, you know, his staff. And what I had to, you know, caution people was that, like, remember in the beginning of McDermott's tenure, we were inexplicably healthy. I mean, Poyer and Hyde never missed games. You know, we had one of the year was like the man games lost. We led the entire NFL. So I don't think that there's something wrong with the facility or ad pro or something like that. I don't buy that. But there's definitely a case of bad luck in respects to the fact that, you know, we just can't seem to get out of our own way. And in a rebuilding year, like you talked about for Bean, it seems like, you know, it just seems like it couldn't have happened at a worse time, because we'll talk about it coming up right now about the replacements. But I'm in a situation where I was like, man, you know, this was not something that I prepared for, because of the fact that what you just said, I was always relying on, okay, well, at least 58's coming back. And like, that was a big part of it as well. And well, what's Vaughn going to be? And, you know, and who's going to be playing, you know, opposite of, you know, of Taylor Rapp and different things like that. I'm like, well, like you just said, 58's going to be there, and that's going to be good enough, and help out a lot. And like, now to lose that really sucks. And it leads us into the next segue, which is, who is the replacement for him? And it looks like Dorian Williams, you know, next man up approach. But, you know, one of my biggest problems with him is that he plays fast, which I love. You know, you make a mistake, make it fast, so that way we can coach it up. But he just seems to be consistently in the wrong spots. And that, it just worries me, because of the fact that he is, he's a young player. I know, second year, but man, it seems like he's always out of position, or not always. I'll give him some credit, but it seems like more often than not, he's in the wrong gaps. He's reading the wrong keys, and that's just not something that you had to worry about with 58.
A rookie last year didn't have a lot of reps, right? But when it came crunch time, when it got into the playoffs, when it got into a situation where we needed to stop teams, they didn't put Dorian Williams out there to start. They didn't. AJ Klein off the couch. They were bringing, you know, like we're better off with this guy off the couch than this rookie who has some potential, right? So you got to be cautiously optimistic going into that as well. You know, we didn't see Dorian Williams, the finished product, last year in the few reps that we saw from him, but he didn't show enough in one full year of play for the team to be relying on him to go into a playoff game against Patrick Mahomes, in which, you know, to be honest, we got pretty carved up, you know, through that exact area, through the middle. And why wouldn't we, right? So you hope he can get another offseason, another kind of a way of learning under Matt Milano, and another full offseason of, you know, he was getting a lot of reps during training camp because Matt Milano was kind of ramping up and not taking taking everything. So, we can only hope that that's going to result in production on the field. And Terrel Bernard on the other side is also going to have to be more than he was last year. He kind of was a surprise breakout, which helped fill that void of Matt Milano leaving. We're going to need him to be that constant all year long now and help these young guys around him to fill those holes. I mean, even Balen Spector's out.
Yeah.
Hurt. So,
Nick Morrow, I think, is hurt. There's, Ulafoshio came back today, but I mean, they've got injuries all around the linebacker room. Yeah. It's interesting, DT, because it's just like, like I said, the bad luck thing. Then that's why I named the episode the way that I did, because this injury bug just continues to bite us. And it's interesting because, last night we wanted to joke around and we wanted to, make fun of. I wanted to make fun of the Bills at least for bringing in Corey Davis for a workout. And then we were, trying to figure out if it couldn't have just been Chase Claypool's injury or anything like that, because he brought in, Demir Bird, and then you brought in another a guy from the, USFL or whatever the case may be. And I'm like, well, why are they trying out, Corey Davis? And then, to see this, this news come out today, it was more like, like I said, we can't even get our feet off the ground. You know what I mean? Like, I'm so worried and anxious about the offense, and then I got to worry about the defense now too. That is one of the things that I didn't think I was going to have to worry too much about. So it'll be interesting to see how the Bills adjust to this. Again, they are in Pittsburgh, for the joint practices. They had them at Acrisure Stadium there in Pittsburgh today. I hadn't heard too much about some of the standouts. I know it was close to the media, DT, but what's your thought on the joint practices? I saw that Terrel Bernard was getting attended to today. I saw that it was another guy that was getting attended to today.
Dorian Williams.
Yeah, Dorian Williams himself, but I think he came back to practice. And I'm just like, I saw on Twitter, people were like, can we just stop with this practice shit? Can we just be done? And I really felt that sentiment, because I just wanted to wave the white flag and okay, that's enough for today. We don't need any more work. We'll see you guys on Saturday night. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, it's the thing about why everyone, over the past couple of years about preseason, and starters aren't even playing in preseason in some teams. And, and should we get rid of the preseason as a whole and kind of replace them with more of these joint practices to get reps and to get live action against guys who you don't see every day and know the intricacies of. But I think it's good. I mean, this is a place where, Josh Allen and all these starters are not going to, they might play a little Saturday, but it's going to be real vanilla, real BS, just get off, just know what it feels like to be in a game. This gives you actual competition,
right.
So I like that. This is straight up one-on-ones, bang, bang, hitting guys you're not, that aren't your teammates. You maybe give them a little extra pop. And you want to beat them, right? And not saying the offense doesn't want to beat the defense and vice versa every day in your own practices, but this is this is another squad that we could contend to get, on our goal to a Lombardi. We might have to see sometime, and we want to beat them. So then we want to prove we're the alphas. We want to prove we're the better NFL team. So I like it. I mean, we've had one. We did one in Carolina, 3-4 years ago, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then now we did this one. So we aren't as frequent as some other teams. I don't know if there's statistics of more injuries or not, but I mean, it seems like guys are dropping it. Matt Milano tearing his bicep, tackling a dummy bag. That's not even anybody on the team. It's another team. It's part of the equipment. So you look around the league too, and obviously we got some award-winning listeners on here with Paige and Kai, our Vikings fans, they had a hell of a week this week with J.J. McCarthy, Jordan Addison, a horrible offseason with their draft pick dying, their other cornerback in the ACL. So there's a ton of situations all the way around the league, and that's what we always talk about at the end of the year. Who stays healthy, that's got the best chance to make a playoff run. And I mean, shit, Rob, last year we're going up against Mahomes and Andy Reid, the best offensive mind and maybe quarterback we'll ever see, with A.J. Klein at our middle linebacker. So it's health is a key. I'm not blaming it on joint practices or anything like that yet, but it's starting to really ruin years and ruin franchises with year after year of situations happening like this.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that because I know a lot of the sentiment on Twitter today was just, we're cursed, and who's had a worse offseason, us or the Vikings and stuff like that, and then again people questioning the strength staff and stuff like that, and I don't really put too much credence into it, like I said, because injuries are so prevalent throughout the league. It's a violent sport. It's not a sport that what did Doug Whaley once say? The human body is not meant to play football. Everybody gave him shit for it, but he was telling the truth. You know what I mean? I'm very keen on that. So. Injuries are going to be a part of the game. Now for Milano, it does seem to be somewhat of a trend, and you're right about his leg snapping. But I went back today on Pro Football Reference, and he hasn't had really a lot of full seasons. And I understand what you're talking about there, but I know that Dorian Williams is a start, but I really do think that there's an opportunity here where maybe Brandon Beane wants to start to think about a long-term replacement for him if Terrel Bernard continues to make that ascent, because obviously he made up for, the loss of Tremaine Edmonds, which is why you're wrong, Noah. We love you, but we didn't need to give Tremaine that bag, and it was fine. And Terrel Bernard proved that it was fine. Now it might be a situation where before we transition, DT, where Brandon Beane might want to think about his replacement next year. And I'm talking about a higher draft pick. Somebody on Twitter said, well, we drafted his replacement. That's Dorian Williams. I'm like, no, that's not his replacement. You know what I mean? So I'm looking for maybe Brandon Beane to maybe either free agency or the draft seriously consider about having something as a contingency plan, because it just seems like this is kind of just like a thing for 458 right now. This is one of his things. He's gonna miss some games every year for something. And that's from the leg aside. Even before that, he was missing games for something almost every year.
Yeah, and you're talking he's going to be 31 next year. He's going to be 30 here. We won't know if we're even going to see him this year at all.
Right.
And then
third highest cap hit on the team.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
you might want to think about it.
It's last year of the contract, all guaranteed, so you can't even release him. Not that but to release him to free up some cap space, you can't even do that because it's a huge cap hit. So you're stuck at least this year. We can only hope, the glass half full of if he is kind of known for injury. If he does come back, hopefully he comes back in the playoff push, right? He comes back towards the end of the year. We're making that push right at the perfect time, and we get him well rested and ready to go because, again, we're not doctors or anything, but once the leg heals, like he's going to be able to get out and get moving, right? He can run through reads and take steps and make things happen,
right?
But he's just not going to be able to hit and stuff till this gets better. So I think maybe that recovery hopefully is quicker. He's back at the end of the year as opposed to kind of going with what might be probability. He starts this year, we ramp him up. Week 5, 6 comes, he tears his bicep band or whatever, right? And then, man, we lost Matt Milano again.
Right.
And now we might have him at the end of the year. What we kind of hoped for Von Miller last year, that never panned out. Maybe we can, flip the coin and get the 58 this year. But I agree. I mean, we got to start looking at a replacement. I mean, hopefully Dorian Williams steps in and kind of fills a void that we need him to, and that kind of takes the burden off that a little bit. But yeah, it's not a long-term option. You can't rely on 58 past this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad. It's sad to say. I mean, and I love him as a player. You know what I mean? I was so happy when he came back. I was very surprised when he came back. I know that it seemed like he was getting ready to test free agency, and then he posted that Wolf on Wall Street video with DiCaprio, and like I love that movie. And I was like, yes, you know what I mean. So I was so happy that he came back. But it just seems like it's a trend. Now again, we can't forecast injuries, and neither can the GM or the coaches. So we understand how that works, which is again why I don't really give too much credence to people that want to take shots at the Bills training staff. I don't think that that's the case. I know our buddy Seth Brown said that there's been some key injuries and he's looking at the training staff, but you're a bodybuilder, Seth. So I mean, I understand how you could look at it. I just think that it's just sometimes it's random, and sometimes it's just bad luck. So as we transition, DT, it's funny because last night what we had wanted to talk about was, the fact that the Bills brought in Corey Davis. And one of my main things when I was poking fun at that was just that I was like, damn, we're a couple weeks away from the season, and it seems like the Bills are still searching for something. And it was funny because I was trying to figure out and pick your brain, and I was like, this can't be, the impetus of this cannot just be the Chase Claypool injury. And I refused to believe that because Claypool was like a long shot anyway, you know what I mean? And we were wondering if he was even going to be on the team. So the 4 are locked in. You've got, Samuel, Shakir, Coleman, and then they love Matt Collins for his special teams work and some of the vibes that he brings into the locker room and stuff like that. So if those 4 are your locks, I'm trying to figure out what are they still looking for, because MVS, they knew that he dropped passes before they signed him. So last week in that preseason game, it shouldn't have been a surprise against the Bears that he dropped a ball. You played against him dropping the balls. And then obviously you played against him, in the playoffs when he came up clutch. And I understand that there's a little bit of irony within that, because in the playoffs he did catch the ball, but we know his warts. Tyrell Shavers, camp hero this year, seems to be playing well, but he came out of nowhere. Justin Shorter, again, a guy with all the measurables, and he's the bus team that we talk about. Get off the bus, and he's like Greg Rousseau. He looks like he plays football, but he doesn't do shit on the field when it's time and the lights are on. So I was like, man, the thing that struck me, DT, was that we are very close to the season, and it's clear to me that Brandon Beane or the coaching staff, whether it be Joe Brady, they are still looking for something at the wide receiver position. And it just makes me nervous. That's all. It makes me nervous this close to the season that they still don't think that they've got it figured out. Whatever everybody eats or whatever the case may be, their slogan, it just seems like they're still searching for something. If you're chasing after a guy, again, they may not sign him, but a guy that was retired out of the league, you're bringing him in for workout. What is that really saying to the fan base?
Exactly. And I got to backtrack a little, Nickel City Crew and Rob, because when this all went down with 14, in the off season, and you were hot, and I was the voice of reason, and we talked it down. I said Brandon Beane's got a plan. He wouldn't waste Josh Allen's career. He wouldn't do it, right? But we have to be. And the plan was we're going to get somebody, and we didn't get somebody. All right, we're going to go high in the draft, and we didn't do that. Obviously they're hoping Keon Coleman will result into a primetime player in the league, but yet to be determined. Then afterwards, free agents everywhere, didn't get them. Brandon Ayuk has been talked about getting traded to every team in the freaking NFL, Rob, except the Bills. Like, there's a report every day he's going somewhere except Buffalo. Not saying
that's
I want
funny.
Brandon Ayuk, or anything, but like the plan, I died on the hill of there's a plan. There's an ace in the sleeve. There's something Brandon Beane's got cooking to be able to make this move and make happen. And as we kind of progress 3 weeks away from the season, like you said, it seems like it was just kind of reset. We'll get the best we can and see what happens type of deal. And that isn't what you want to hear when you have Josh Allen at quarterback, when you've been to multiple divisional games year in, year out, inches away from Super Bowls, whatever you have it, you don't want to hear. We'll see what happens with one of the best quarterbacks in the world we'll ever see.
That's right.
But I mean, like you said it, the top players are locked in, and you look back at the previous years, the top players are the ones that play. Last year, on the back end of that receiving roster, Deontay Hardy and Trent Sherfield were the only two catches I remember. The punt return in week 17, or that he took to the house, and
then that thing at the back of Miami, right?
Touchdown that he didn't even catch the ball; he just caught the deflection. So it wasn't even, So that's like the top two things an entire year. The back end of that roster gave us. So that also brings me to, yes, I don't love that they're bringing in Corey Davis. I think that might be something like, hey, I'm getting back into playing. Let's see what you got. If he's still nice, maybe we'll take the chance before other people kind of catch wind of it, right? But I kind of got to get off where I died on the hill or in the offseason where there was some big plan, because there isn't. It is what it is. The hodgepodge is what we got. But also not look too deep into the back end of this receiver room, because in previous years it's shown that it doesn't matter.
No, that's a great point, and you're right about that. We are talking about the back end guys and guys that probably won't factor in. It just kind of adds to that moniker that, like I said, that everybody eats, and you know what I mean. It's a whole bunch of B minuses and C's are going to equal an A, and I just don't buy it. I haven't bought it, and so it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. That's all. They seem to be still searching for something. Clearly, some speed. I know that they would like that, but I thought they've got Andy Isabella, they've got KJ Hamler, they've got guys with speed. So. Maybe they just don't like the guys that they have. So they're still searching. But again, tonight's episode presented by 26 Shirts here on Buffalo Fanbase, the official Bills Mafia podcast network. We appreciate all of the support. Head on over to 26shirts.com for all of your Buffalo Bills and Sabres and Buffalo City themed t-shirts. Again, a portion of the proceeds go to a great cause, a family that's going to be in need in Buffalo or across the world. And they've got great content creators that are creating great t-shirts over there as well. So head on over to 26shirts.com. get yourself a t-shirt and get your drip right as summer comes to a close. DT, as we transition and we begin to wrap up pretty soon, I know this is a little bit of a shorter episode tonight, but it's funny, and we appreciate everybody who's watching. Over 500 people, DT, watching on all different platforms, so we appreciate it tonight on a somber Thursday. I mean, this I just did not expect this news today, obviously. I think if we're being honest with ourselves, we probably knew on Monday or whatever, Tuesday, whatever it was, that like this shit is probably not going to be great. But I was just hoping that like it was like a strain or something, you know what I mean? Like an aggravation of something. And like he would just, okay, he's going to be out, but he'll be back for the regular season. But to hear he tore tore the bicep, I was like, shit, I just wasn't expecting to hear that shit.
and McDermott didn't tell the team. Did you see that?
No, what?
He didn't tell the team. He announced it, in the press
to the
conference
media
before practice. And then they're interviewing Deion Dawkins after practice, and they're like, "What do you think about Matt Milano being out most of the season?" And he's like, "What?"
Oh, for real?
Like,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's like, "Are you serious?" And they're like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Damn, like."
Oh no, I was working today. I didn't watch any of the press conferences. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know, man. McDermott's funny.
This was
He's
something
weird.
that they like found this morning, and they were like, "Fuck, we gotta bring it up." But I've been fighting all day. Group chat fighting all day, man.
Twitter has just been more just everybody's angry and everybody's sad, and they wish that this didn't happen to them. And then again, there's, like I said, there's a section that is trying to point to something with the strength and conditioning staff under McDermott. And like I said, I had to shoot that down. It wasn't even me defending McDermott. It was just I have to defend this injury. It's freaking football.
It's the NFL,
and
man.
people are going to get hurt, and they do get hurt all the time. And I just wanted to remind people, let's not forget that we were unbelievably healthy to start his tenure. Now, as we transition, DT and I are going to play a little game tonight to wrap up tonight's show. Please, on the comment line, help us out if you can. We are going to try to pick the NCC, the Nickel City Crew 53. And we're going to need some help. The NCC 53. We need some help from Noah and everybody that's around on the text line. So listen, we'll go by position, and you've got yours up, I've got mine up, DT. And what I want to do is try to just figure out a way to figure out who's on this damn team. And it's funny because before this Milano injury, I never even would have thought about that. But now you probably got to go a little bit beefier on the linebackers and stuff like that to maybe help out with, some of the guys that are not going to be necessarily main players, but just in case, break glass in case of an emergency type guy. So we'll go over it and we'll try to see what we can't do for the actual roster. Now, quarterback seems pretty much cut and dry, DT. So QBs, we've got two, right? I only see him taking two to camp. Two to the season on the 53 with Josh and then Mitchell Trubisky, who looked horrible. The other guy looked horrible in that preseason game. I know that we didn't recap the preseason game. There was really nothing to really recap. Caleb Williams looked like he's going to be a problem in the league. There is no schemes. Everything's vanilla. Everybody loves to tell you that. And I really can't just get too worked up over the backups getting their asses beat at the end of the game. I just don't have really much capacity for it, man. It's preseason. Any thoughts before we go to this 53 roster breakdown, DT, on that preseason? No, I just don't have any effort, man. I don't have it.
What's Belichick? We're on to Pittsburgh.
We're on to Pittsburgh. All right. Quarterbacks. So Josh Allen, Mitch Trubisky, that takes two. Running backs, DT, it's an interesting position because I've been watching it, and I like Ty Johnson. That's me personally. I like him a lot. I like his speed. I like the shiftiness, and I like what he brought last year.
1-7.
I'm wondering what you think about the backups, because I don't see much beyond, Jimbo, Ray Davis, and then Ty Johnson. Now, I don't know if they want to keep a fourth back or if they'll count Reggie, Gilliam as their fourth back.
Yeah, I think, like you
or
said,
Darrington Evans. I think they let somebody talk
we're
about
going to be
too.
beefing up in other areas of the roster. Let's stick with the three: Johnson, Davis, Jimbo.
Yeah, I like that. I like that as well. So, all right,
five.
So we're at 5. Do we what's it called? It's got a spot though as well, right?
Gilliam, Reggie.
Yep, Gilliam's got a spot. Okay.
Which,
all right, so that's 6.
I really feel bad because I don't really he's the last person I think about. I know he's good. I know he plays special teams, but I don't really notice him at all. It's tough for me to I just kind of go with the crowd on that, right? Oh yeah, we need Reggie Gilliam, but I don't really know. on that. So we'll keep him on the roster.
Well, he's good. He's good on special teams. So let's at least give him that. All right. So he's good on special teams. So we've got Ty Johnson, Ray Davis, and then Jimbo, Big Jimbo coming in for the running backs. Now, wide receivers. This is the big one that I love to talk about. So let's figure out this clusterfuck that is everybody eats. Everybody eats. Everybody grab a fork. We already talked about the four: Shakir, Coleman, Hollins, and then Curtis Samuel. Yep. Do the Bills carry 5? Do they carry 6?
They're going 5. They're going
5. Is that thin to you? Now, I just wanted to know, do you think that's thin? Okay.
What did they do last year? 5?
Yeah.
They did 5.
No, 5, yeah.
So that last spot, I mean, we paid MVS some money.
Yeah, I know. Not much, but they paid him money.
KJ Hamler's been returning kicks.
Yes.
Nobody else has really, other than the rookie from Penn State, Hardy, the corner. Nobody else has been really returning kicks. So I think we got Noah,
the core 4.
Curtis Samuel will have a lot of carries at running back. So probably just 3 running backs because maybe Curtis Samuel is that gadget, Debo Samuel Jr., Curtis Samuel, whatever.
All right, you made up for it, Noah. For your bad take. You made up for it.
So, all right, so 3. So where are we at? We're at 6 with quarterbacks, running backs, and fullback. Then we got the 4. That brings us to 10. Let's do 6 receivers.
Yeah, I think 5 is thin.
I think Hamler, I think gets in for the returning duties and that speedster guy, and then that 5th, whoever it is, MVS, Shavers, Shorter.
I think you'd probably have to give it to Shavers just on. Well, I think you have to give it to Shavers, either MVS or Shavers. I think it comes down to those two, because you gave a little bit of money to MVS, but he's going to drop the ball, and then Shavers. It's almost a situation where you've got to keep him around because or what the hell is the preseason worth or training camp? If I'm going to ball out in preseason and do my job to the best of my ability, and then I still can't make the team, then sometimes that makes it. I feel like it makes it. It sends a bad message to the group because, listen, you could bust your ass, you can work hard, and then we're still not going to give you a roster spot because we gave MVS a couple $1 million. So I think it's almost a situation where McDermott might have to give an opportunity to a guy like Shavers, or maybe they mix match each other throughout the practice squad, because I think you can elevate guys and drop guys down almost throughout the season. So we'll see. So how many up to now?
We're at 12, right? 12.
All right.
10 with the 4, and then 2 more with the 6. So 12.
All right. Tight ends.
I think you got to go 3 with the injury history of Dawson Knox. Quentin Morris is a dog. I like 3: Quentin Morris, Dalton Kincaid.
Try to stash Zach Davidson, the other camp hero, on the practice squad. Okay, all right. He's not making plays.
Quit making plays so people look at you. Yeah.
I love it. All right, offensive line. They normally carry 10 offensive linemen.
15. We're 15.
Mm-hmm. They normally carry 10 or 9 offensive linemen, right? So you got the starting 5, and then you need a backup center. Yeah. You need a backup guard, or you need at least a backup tackle, and they'll probably have 2 backup tackles, right? So I would at least say that they're 9 strong on the offensive line, right?
Yep, at least.
Right.
I'd like to see him. I'd like Vampire and Granger to make it. I really would.
I do like him. Yeah, I know. But
just for longevity purposes, if he can be a long-term, formula for center for us, that's perfect, right? So I'm hoping he gets in. Let's say, for numbers wise, we're going to get deep on the other end of the ball. So let's go 9. So what are we at?
We went from
12 and then 15 with tight ends. So 9, we're at 24.
All right. 24. Is that good on offense? I think that covers offense. All right. Defensive line. We've got the starting. We've got Vaughn, Groot. We've got Oliver.
Epineza.
Yeah, Epineza too. Yeah.
Oh, you're just going.
I was just trying to do the first front 4.
Vaughn,
Oliver,
Groot,
Day.
Mm-hmm. So that's your 4, and then the back of that you got Epineza.
Mm-hmm.
You have
Solomon.
I think,
or no. I don't know if he's done enough.
I think it's him or Tuhill or Smoot. One of those 3 gets
Dwayne Smoot.
I think
you're
6.
Right.
I think 6 on the D line is, or right now 6 before we get into the backup D interiors.
Right.
So we're at
And
6 with – so that last spot is Smoot, Tuhill, or Solomon.
Or Solomon. Okay. And then
Yeah.
we've got Dwayne Carter.
Yep.
Austin
interior,
Johnson.
and Austin Johnson interior.
Okay. And then that's pretty much it, right? For those guys. I mean, maybe
Kingsley.
I was going to say maybe Kingsley Jonathan, but I don't necessarily have to. I don't think Gable Stevenson, he's going to make the team or anything like that. I think he's a practice squad guy. So
we would have heard about him now if he was, because that would have been obviously headline news. Like, oh, this guy's never played. And he's going to make he's making plays, and we haven't heard a peep since we signed him. So yeah, I don't think he's in.
All right. So where are we at now? That makes us. That gives us what?
8. That's 8. That's 8 from 24.
On the 24.
So that's
all right. 32
from 24. Now we have 8. So yeah, 32. D-line taken care of. All right.
D-line's good. Linebackers, sore subject. We got.
I gotta look at the roster. We need some names.
All right, we got Terrel Bernard.
And
then Dorian Williams right now. And then I guess so like a guy like a Nick Morrow is a lock now.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because you're going to need him.
Yep.
You're going to need him.
Yep.
Even maybe a Balin Spector. Yep. Jinx. He's a lock now. Yep. And then maybe one more, like either Eddie Olufucio or I mean, I don't think the local kid from Lancaster, Andreessen's going to make the team. So
what about Deion Jones?
Oh yeah, Deion Jones from Atlanta. Yeah, I haven't heard much from him. Yeah, but yeah.
No.
Yeah.
He's got that.
But you think they could carry 4?
He's got downs in the NFL,
Yeah. So you think, but I think that they could carry 4 for sure, right? 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
4. Let's say 5.
Okay.
Because of the
injury.
Yeah.
Okay. 5 takes us to what? Nickel City Crew, where are we at now? I think we're almost
at 32. We're at 32, so we're 37? Now at 37.
All right.
Okay.
So we got a couple more guys. Cornerbacks or defensive backs. We'll do all defensive backs.
Yeah.
So we've got on the
Rasul.
Benford.
Rapp.
Yeah.
DeMar Hamlin looks like he's on the squad.
Yeah. Probably a starter. Elam.
Cam Lewis.
Did we already say Elam?
That's set. Yes. Yep.
Okay. All right.
Lewis is 6.
They like Hardy.
Johnson.
Oh yeah.
Taron Johnson is 8.
They like Hardy. Hardy might be doing kicks
and kick return special teams. So that's 9.
9 defensive backs. Okay. Anybody else? That's 9. On what? On 37.
Cam Lewis. I already said Cam Lewis.
You did. Ooh, interesting.
9 on 38. Yeah. So we're at 47 now. Yeah.
Ooh, can we stick? I know they like Corey Couch because I keep hearing about Corey Couch making plays.
Yes, Couch. Yep.
So I was wondering about him, but that's a lot of defensive backs. But okay, but 10 with safeties that may do it.
Because I'll tell you where we went thin. We'll get back to. But then so then that takes us to 48.
Okay. Reed Ferguson.
Then you go Ferguson, Bass, and whoever the hell's punting.
Yeah, Sam Martin.
That is 51. So we got two more spots to fill. I think that goes to defensive line.
Ooh, interesting. Okay, and then I think
rotational piece.
And then I wouldn't be surprised if they try to sneak in another wide receiver, to be honest. Yeah. Or somebody else, somebody that does special teams along with wide receiver. So okay, look at that. The first NCC 53. We'll see how close we are.
That was surprising. I thought we'd be lower. I thought we'd be higher.
Be higher.
We'd be coming in at like 58 and then have to cut some down. But man, I guess it is a little thin in some spots. So hey, we'll take that.
We'll take that. Yeah, we'll take that, man. That was fun. I like that. I enjoyed that. We appreciate everybody watching tonight and being a part of the show as well. Know all the guys on the text line, and we appreciate all of your support. Over 600 people watching, DT, and we do appreciate the support, like we said. So listen, we're gonna get ready to wrap up tonight. It's been a tough day. Everybody needs to lick their wounds. Everybody needs to kind of decompress. I'm getting ready to get over to Wing Night there at Al's Bar and Grill here in Cornelius, North Carolina, with the Kings. I'm going to go there, eat some wings, watch some bad preseason football with, I think it's the Patriots and Eagles.
Eagles,
yeah.
Pats.
Yeah,
hey,
maybe
little bet line. They said the Patriots are the favorite. And,
yes, yeah.
During their joint practice, one reporter said the Patriots offense made him want to kill himself.
That is, yes, I heard that on WGR.
So
maybe
put some calling on Eagles money line underdogs tonight.
Oh my goodness, I love it. Look at DT's even got you covered for preseason betting tips. What better way to close the show than that, man? Degenerates. I love it. Listen, you guys out there, we really enjoy your support. We will be back next week. We promised you a Josh Allen week. We are bringing you a Josh Allen week. Our special guest was busy tonight, so we had to switch things up. And again, we got hit over the head anyway with the Matt Milano injury news. So it's all good. Next week, it's all about 17. We are going to dive into not so much Mama Monday in his head as much, because we love doing that with Mama Monday, but just about the big, enormous weight that's on this man's shoulders coming into this year. There's a lot that has changed for Josh Allen. And, you know, one of the things that we've talked about, and you even brought it up at the beginning of the show, DT, was one of my biggest arguments against Everybody Eats is that, you know, you are shoveling one of his prime years right into a volcano. And I'm not a part of that. And again, I don't know the future, so I don't know if that's necessarily going to be the case. That's been one of my main fears. But we are going to jump into Josh Allen. He is everybody's favorite topic. He is the leader of the Buffalo Bills, and it's really never been more important than this year to lead. He has got to take a step forward in that category. Again, we talked about Pagula a couple episodes, really kind of setting down an edict that he wants him to be more of an executive approach. DT, there is a lot to unpack with 17. He is he's got a lot of shit on his plate for sure, man. His plate's full of wings for sure.
That's a good teaser right there, Rob. Good teaser for the listeners for next week. As I've said this 100 times, and I'll say it 100 more, Josh Allen's addicting. Can't wait for next week, baby. Let's dig into 1-7.
I love it. Listen out there.
Stay healthy in Pittsburgh.
Yes, please. I don't think he's going to play, so I think he's good. It doesn't seem like McDermott's going to be that stupid. So listen, enjoy the game Saturday night. Again, the Bills in Pittsburgh, 7:00. I think NFL Network is covering that game again, so we get lucky 2 weeks in a row. NFL Network will be covering the game, so you don't have to worry about finding a way to watch it. Be good out there, man. Spread love, not hate. These were my Bills thoughts said out loud. Hit them with a go Bills, DT. Gosh.
Go Bills.
Darn it.
1-1 in the preseason coming up. Let's get a win.
Man, that injury
These
bug,
boys
man.
know what it feels to win. That's all right.
Yeah.
Let's get a win Saturday. 1-1.
Okay.
Go Bills.
Okay. Go Bills. Go Bills.